But what this is people. I know I can count on one hand the number of people in my entire life who seem to understand what the fuck is going on with the diversity industry. It's corruption and political coercion shoehorned in through reframed one word kill shots like diversity and racism and sexism and anti-Semitism. Okay? Again, it's just that the Jewish Affinity Network has turned this into a business. It's not the people themselves or whatever. Okay? Again, like I know it's very easy for people to cross that line. I urge you not to do it. I don't do it. I never do that with any groups. Black groups, Muslim groups, Arab groups, Hispanic groups, LGBT groups, whatever. Keep love in your heart. But be swift with justice for those who have committed crimes. They need to be held to account. They need to be brought to trial. Okay. So that's how this works with this Muslim, Jewish and Muslim, right? They try to shoehorn in the Muslim thing to make it intersectionally. Oh, it's about diversity. Okay. But let's keep going here. One sec. Okay, so we are now at. Okay, so that was January. So it goes to trial in April 2018. And lo and behold, the policy is deemed to be unlawful. It is illegal not to prioritize Jewish and Muslim bodies in death. The High Court of London ruled it was unlawful, irrational, and discriminatory for a first-come, first-served death policy. Lawyers acting for both the Stamford Hill Burial Society and the claimant was ruled to be a breach of the Human Rights Act, as well as indirect discrimination under the Equality Act. That's disparate impact. That's right, a first-come, first-served death policy has a disparate impact on Jewish and Muslim people. Therefore, we need super equality. Equality isn't enough. We need super equality where some have super equal rights versus others. By the way, hashtag super equality. Can we meme that into existence like SJW? Because I'm on team equality. But team super equality needs to get fucking bent. They want super rights for themselves. That's right. First come, first serve in death is a violation of the Human Rights Act as anti-Semitism. The challenge brought together all parts of the Jewish community and was backed by a host of members of parliament across the political spectrum. Left, right, we got them all. There are now calls for Hassel, Mary Hassel, the coroner, who told judges she had the fucking nerve. She had the fucking nerve to tell that judge that Jewish families were queue jumping to the detriment of non-Jews. She had the nerve to say that prioritizing Jewish bodies in death was queue jumping. So these Jewish groups are now calling for Mary Hassel to be fired. You had the fucking nerve. The nerve to say our queue jumping was queue jumping. Now, she maintained a neutral stance in proceedings, arguing that she had only been interpreting existing legislation and guidance, originally with the blessing of the chief coroner, who later criticized her after first describing her policy as excellent. Now, what does that remind you of? Let me play you another clip from The Diversity Industry, Starbucks edition. Remember, the chief coroner in the UK said, yeah, that makes sense. I like this policy of first come, first serve. But then after Jewish affinity group pressure, he condemned her. Do you guys remember the Philly police chief for the Starbucks affair? The Starbucks racism row? You guys remember this one before and after diversity industry pressure?
Philadelphia's police commissioner apologized today for his remarks following the arrest of 2 black men at Starbucks.
It is important to emphasize and underscore that these officers had legal standing to make this arrest. These officers did absolutely nothing wrong.
I'm here to discuss the unfortunate incident that has been in the news about this great city. An incident that I fully acknowledge.
You guys hear that? The volume may have been a little low. Before diversity industry pressure, these officers did nothing wrong. The guy wouldn't leave the store, didn't buy anything, wouldn't go on his own volition, so they had to drag him out, of course. But after the diversity industry got to him, I'm sorry, I made it worse. That's the police chief. They got to him. Because who owns his ass? The mayor. And who owns the mayor? I shouldn't say own, that's too strong a word. Who exerts disproportionate influence via personal relationships, via a coordinated network of favors for favors, political contributions, and money, to the distortion of universal justice. They did the same thing to the police chief in Philadelphia. They did the same thing to the coroner chief in London. Originally had the blessing of the chief coroner, called it excellent, and then criticized it as anti-Semitic. Money, 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 money. Now it gets better. We're just warming up on this story. It's fucking crazy. Sorry, I should really rein in the F-bombs. It's Saturday. I'm here by myself, alone right now, trying to make it a little bit of self-amusement, trying to make it fun for me too. Now, Hassel represented herself, pro se, at the Royal Courts of Justice where this claim was tried, the highest court. And who was the Jewish industry represented by? 3 barristers, 2 of whom were QCs. Now, do you guys know what QCs are? Raise your hand. Show me some love. Hit me with a 1 if you know what a QC is, and a 2 if you don't. QC. You know what a QC is? I remember hearing about this in law school. But it was forever ago. I see 1, 2, 1. Yeah, Queen's Counsel. 2, 2, 2. Yeah. Yeah, okay. 2, okay, I see about half and half. Yeah, Queen's Counsel, okay? Queen's Counsels are the motherfuckers with these wigs and special silk. Special super lawyers appointed, by the Queen, basically. Okay? Not just lawyers, super lawyers. So you're here defending yourself because you're like, equality means everyone. First come, first serve in death. Right? She's like, am I taking crazy pills? And into the court walks not just regular lawyers, but these super blessed by the Queen. By the way, that doesn't mean they have any merit. It's a political appointment, basically. It means you're in good favor. With wigs on, coming to the court like, yeah, you know how it is. A good lawyer knows the law. A great lawyer knows the judge. Anyway, can you guys see that on screen? Let me open link, new tab. Let me blow that up for you guys. Yeah, these guys walk into court. All right. Now, back to the story. Chief Rabbi Ephraim Mervis says this judgment holds within it an essential message about British values, that some people are more equal than others. When we talk about freedom and respect for people of all backgrounds, when we say that Britain values diversity and equality, this is what we mean. That is what they mean. Yeah, take that to the fucking bank. That is what they mean. As Lord Justice Singh said in his judgment, uniformity is not the same thing as equality. That's right, guys. Universal carriage of the law is not the same thing as equality. I commend all those who have tirelessly campaigned. That's right, guys. This was not a legal trial. This was a campaign. Anonymous in the chat says, super equality is a great meme. Now let me ask you guys, let me crowdsource this. Do you think we should be super equality or should we be regular equality and they should be super equality? Because I kind of want to be super equality, but I feel like it'll be easier to inflate the meme if they're super equality. Let me know in the chat. But it's not just enough that they won in court and that if you don't prioritize Jews, it's a violation of human rights. They want her ass. They want her fired. The board vice president said she must vacate her position after embarrassing herself for having the fucking gall to do equal treatment under the law. She thought she could go against us? She fought us for months. We need to make an example out of her. By the way, notice how in none of these articles do you see Muslims. Right? The Muslim community that the Board of Deputies of British Jews was purporting to represent, they didn't have any legal counsel. They weren't represented at all. They weren't even part of the claimants. Weren't part of the PR, part of the marketing, nothing. Nothing. They were pawns. And they probably got paid a fair amount to drive a wedge between moderate Muslims and BDS Muslims. Labor leader Jeremy Corbyn said the High Court ruling is very welcome, be a huge relief to the Jewish and Muslim communities. This policy must be scraped. London Mayor Sadiq Khan, I welcome this decision by the High Court. It is right and proper. So, new rules were to be drawn up. The livelihood of Mary Hassel up in the air. And what ends up happening? Mary Hassel is ordered to pay the costs, the court costs. Remember, she was just the coroner. The court orders her to pay the court costs, amounting to, wait for it, £68,000. That's right, the coroner, for having the fucking gall to have a non-preferential death policy, is ordered to pay £68,000 to the Jewish Affinity Network for defending herself in court.